Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League. This is the Eco Performance Tier 1, the top tier for Invictus. And it's going to be a cracker here for round number 11 at the Dutch Grand Prix. The famous circuit, Zandvoort circuit. Short, feisty and normally a lot of fun. But my name is JPH and joining me as always in the commentary box is Bruce. Good evening, Bruce. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, JPH. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, as you say, an excellent circuit. This short circuit, so yeah, quite a few laps to get through during the race. Not too many overtaking places, but good to see. As it stands at the moment, the track has dried out somewhat since yesterday's Tier 2 race.
Well, I mean, that is potentially until the race comes along.
That is very true. However, we did have rain pretty much from the get-go yesterday, so yeah, I think it would be good to see a dry race tonight to see the cars pushing at their max. But yeah, we never say no to a bit of rain. But yeah, we shall see what happens.
Absolutely, and I'm just going to quickly get the audio balance correct after some of the bits. So we're going to go on board with Jack here for a lap of the Dutch Grand Prix up towards Tarzan hairpin. Some lovely slightly banked hairpin right, fourth gear for Jack as he brings the throttle back in. And you bring it left for 2, 3 into 4. 3, 2, 4 is a flat right, 5 flat left, 6 flat right, 7 down a gear. Be patient with the car, let it just roll through a little bit. And a big slide there for Jack, that's through turn number 8. He's going to keep going with the lap, but listen, no, he's now abandoned that lap. And I'm not surprised, Louis not too far behind as he goes through turn 10. Again, another hairpin where you're just going to be a little bit patient with the throttle. Don't clip the curb, it will spin the car. Into 11 and 12. A really nice combination if you get it right, 11 and 12. 13 and 14 then, here we go then. Down one gear for Louis, sometimes 2 for others. And then absolutely flat through this final banked corner. Which did cause issues on previous iterations of the game, but it seems to be okay. On this one is a 110.110. For Louis to kick us off here in qualifying.
Yeah, Ed Veer just about to cross the line. I think he may improve on this, and yeah, he does go provisional with a 109.9. Pretty sure that's going to be improved on though. But yeah, good start for Ed and Louis there, getting some banker laps in as Sydney goes to the top of the timesheets.
Yeah, that's a good start for Sydney. Always good to have a nice quick opening lap. I think Merck's on a lap, this is slightly unusual for Merck. He doesn't normally come out quite this early. Although I don't think anyone really came out very early at all. 110.2 for Mert.
Yeah, a little bit lower than Merck would have expected. 9/10 off the pace, but obviously we don't know exactly how he's run that lap. I would suggest from his current ERS that he has left in the car. That was just a steady run for the Mercedes driver, but yeah, good stuff him. Shame there for Jack with that big slide. Louis did flirt with the grass a little bit as well on his lap. We've got lap times now for Gattuso and Ashtu, both on the mediums though, so not really that representative. Although Gattuso, I think, will be pretty pleased with that time on a medium, only 1.2 off pole.
Yeah, Ryan just coming around the final corner as well. In the Sauber, he goes 7th quickest. It's maybe just a slight banker lap there for Ryan. One person we're going to be watching for is Rado24, the Tier 2 champion of this season. He's having a guest appearance here in Tier 1. Obviously just going to see what it's like in the top tier. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of pace he's got as the night develops.
Yeah, definitely. As you say, T2 champion as it stands, unless he manages to get himself disqualified from the season, which would be pretty impressive. But yeah, no, great stuff from Rado, and good to see him in Tier 1. See how he gets on for that potential jump up next season, possibly for him from Tier 2 to Tier 1. And Jack did actually get a second lap in there, has gone second so far, then managed to spin heading into the banked left-hander on his in-lap. So he's just kind of getting out of the way of everyone at the moment. So yeah, it's a bit of a steady cruising for the Racing Bull driver.
Yeah, JP 911 on a lap at the moment, just coming into the last sector. Mercedes crew, I'm not quite sure if Mercedes are Constructors Champions yet. I mean, Merckx is all while shouting he's going to be Tier 1 champion. I haven't had quite a chance to see all the standings, but yeah, I'm not quite sure on the Constructors. I think Mercedes were probably quite close, although obviously JP's had some horrible luck this season as he comes up to the line. What can he produce? It's a 110.0, 5th place for now.
Scopefielder about to go, I was going to say about to go front row, and he does indeed go front row with that 109.5. So great work from RP Joe. Worth noting actually with Scopefielder, I believe he's actually either third or fourth in the championship. I'll double check this in a minute. He hasn't done the whole season. He joined a little bit late, a few rounds in. Actually did 1 or 2 races I think in tier 2, hoofed up to tier 1, and his consistency has thrown him right up the standings. So yeah, good to see him continuing this development of his speed, and showing again, up on the front row as it stands. That's great stuff.
Rodo on his first flying lap in Tier 1. He's in the Haas, but as we say, it's equal performance, so it doesn't matter what colours are on the car, they're pretty much all the same. He's spooked into provisional pole position on 109.3 for the Red Bull. So once again, the Red Bulls making strides in qualifying. Another team really that probably should have been challenging Mercedes this season, but again just getting into little issues here and there, a bit of bad luck. As Renault puts himself at 11th on the grid for now, a 110.4.
Yeah, good stuff there from Rodo in the Haas. Louis disqualified for blocking the pit lane, so I think he's probably waited there for cars to come through and then just been disqualified on the spot by the game. So that's a disaster for Louis. He's going to start at the back of the grid. What a massive slow from Kez as well on his flying lap. Massive shame that for Louis.
Yeah, and this is not the easiest track to overtake on. You do have to sort of force errors from drivers due to the sort of tight nature of the circuit. So you've got the long black down towards turn number 1, but make sure you get a good run out of that penultimate corner. It's not the easiest thing to do.
It's not, no. It is, as you say, very, very difficult to overtake around here. You kind of almost got to be patient, other than the first lap or two when it's a little bit chaotic. Other than that, you're kind of waiting for a mistake from the driver in front to be able to capitalise. Just going back to the constructors, Mercedes currently leading Red Bull by 60 and a half points. So not quite confirmed as champions, constructors champions, but basically, to keep it simple, a finish for both drivers in the top 10 would be enough, I believe, to get them that. And from this position, the Red Bull team have to finish 1-2, probably for both races now at the end of the season, and hope that something happens to the Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. 42 points available per race, if my math serves me correct. 42? No, it's not. It's 32.
32.
It's 32, yeah. 32 points available for constructors in each race. So, yeah, as you say, not quite there. I mean, they needed 64.5 of a gap to guarantee themselves this week, but shouldn't be too hard of a target for at least one of them to finish in the all important points positions. Obviously, top 12 do score points here in Invictus Racing League, which is great to see, because obviously it just gives those guys near the back of the pack something definitely worth fighting for in those points paying positions.
Oh, big spin. JP locking the rears coming into the pits, did actually go across the line sideways, but the game just reset him straight into the pits. But as Jack goes provisional with a 109.2.
Jack, he's outpaced this season as Jack. He's not done the whole season. But he has shown little sort of sprites of pace as Edvir goes 8th quickest so far. Young Sav back in the pits. Beyond the Boer, I think he's heading to the pits 4th at the moment. His home race tonight, so he'll be hoping for a good result.
Yeah, definitely. He's had a good few races beyond the Boer recently, so wouldn't be surprised if he's up there fighting for the win come the end of the race. Sydney is currently on an in-lap, I believe, so he's not going for it. Ed Veer, half a second down at sector 1, so guessing... It looks like he is still actually attacking this lap, so... Oh no, he's just backed out of that now, so...
He hasn't long finished a lap as Edvir, so not surprised that he's not on one at the moment. Gattuso, he's on a hot lap though, in the Alpine.
So yeah, this is Gattuso's first flying lap on the softs, I believe, isn't it? Because he did the first run on mediums. So yeah, 3 temps up at the first sector on his current time. He could well be up the front. I think it depends how he can get on here with the last couple of sectors.
Down to the 11-12 chicane for Gattuso. He's up by half a second at the moment, puts him on a 1:09.6. Albeit 1:09.7, so you're looking around 8th place at the moment for Gattuso. It's good to see though the spread of the field, the top 11 covered by 1 second. Rado just outside that at the moment. He's on another lap though. As Gattuso puts himself in 4th place at 109.4. And again, once again, he's showing he has that pace. It's just that consistency in the race. He just seems to lack a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. As you say, yeah, he has had great pace, great single lap pace, and yeah, just needs to convert that in the race. Currently on board with Scopefielder, who I believe is on a flying lap right now, looking to improve on his 1:09.5. Haven't seen his first sector time, so a little bit in the dark on this one, but yeah, he's coming up to the end of sector 2, and yeah, nearly 3 temps up on his best time. So actually, that sector time there would put him bang level with Jack's time, I think, for pole position.
Yeah, worth noting, Sydney's popped himself into second at the moment on 1:09.276. Got obviously Schofield coming up to the line, we've also got Ruddo coming up to the line. Ruddo's about 2 tenths quicker on this latest lap. Schofield goes on provisional pole position on 1:09.136. The Haas of Ruddo coming up to the line. He puts himself in 11th on 1:10.1.
Yeah, good stuff there. As you say, very, very tight field at the moment. Keza probably a little bit down on where he'd want to be. Brando, once again, we've seen him in this situation many times this season, not having a lap set as we approach the latter stages of qualifying. Only 4 minutes left. He's only going to get the 1 run at this. He does have a habit of managing to dig himself out of it somewhat. But yeah, still, again, not an ideal situation for a Red Bull driver at all.
Yeah, I'm assuming he doesn't have a qualifying ban, because normally if you have a qualifying ban, you come out, do an outlap, so it saves your setup.
I will check this just in case. We're obviously very well prepared.
Meanwhile, Keza on an outlap. I say outlap, he is actually on a flying lap now. Use a lot of battery through this first sector, but to get the feeling through the middle sector, he just managed to save a little bit more. In the Astons, he heads through turn 10, down yes, that's turn 10. Into the DRS zone, down towards 11 and 12. He's 7 tenths quicker there, so he's on for a 1:10.1 on a par with Ruddo. Two of the main sort of drivers in Tier 2, and obviously Keza had a bit of a horrible Tier 2 season as he clips the wall through the bank corner. That's not what you want to be doing. It's a 1:10.196, puts him into 12th place. So good job he didn't have WRC physics on that. I think the rear left wheel would have come off the rim there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just check through the stewards' findings from last week. No penalty for Brando regarding qualifying that I can see. So yeah, just leaving it late currently languishing down in 15th place. Yeah, it should be interesting to see what he can do. As you say, I think young Sav is about to come in the pit, so coming in that was pretty quick into the pits for young Sav on my screen. Not sure what it looked like for you, but yeah, interesting that he just kind of stopped on a dime and didn't actually get any warning for that, but there we go.
I think there was definitely a warning given to him. He's just lucky it wasn't a full-on penalty.
Penalty, yeah. He's going to be put. I don't think by the time he gets in, gets another set of boots on, he's not going to get out again for another lap. So, yeah, I think that's probably his qualifying done.
I mean, pretty much leaving the garage about a minute and a half before, at the very latest. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. But JP on a lap, he is just a little bit quicker through Sector 1. We got a few people here needing to pull some times out of the bag, like Beyond the Bower and Merck. They're 7th and 8th. We kind of expect them towards the sort of top 3 area, but as we've seen tonight, lots of drivers, I think, normally you can kind of say, oh, like Beyond the Bower, Merck, they're the ones you're looking out for the race win, but it looks like we're going to have the sort of the top 8, top 9 with JP included in that, as potential winners here tonight, looking at the pace across the field as JP comes through the last couple of corners. What can he do on this final attempt for him in qualifying? He's a 1:09.565, stays in 9th, but does obviously increase that gap to Edvir.
Yeah, gives a bit of breathing space there for the Mercedes driver, not far off his teammate's pace. Yeah, everyone managed to come out now. Young Sav is on an out lap. I think he's going to make it, you know. I think he'll be okay. He's having to push somewhat to get there, but I think he's going to do it. But yeah, Brando is out. He's on a flying lap now. It will be interesting to see if he can save his qualifying session.
Yeah, absolutely. Brando through Sector 1. And there are other people on laps, but we're going to stick with Brando at the moment because this is going to be quite a crucial lap for him and the Red Bull team. As we head into the DRS zone down towards 11 and 12. Put a couple of corners for the number 7 Red Bull through the back corner. Keep it nice and tight, shorten that distance to the line. And on 1:09.265 is his prize. 4th quickest for the Red Bull. That's a good time. Schofield into the 1:08. So times are tumbling. Got Beyond the Bower coming through. And a little bit of Mercedes trickery going on because I think JP's about to give a little bit of a draft to Mert. Beyond the Bower goes into 6th. Mert only goes 7th. Gattuso up into 8th. Young Sav currently in 9th. I think that's Sydney gone into 2nd place. Young Sav coming up towards the line now. He's invalidated, so he won't improve. Keza coming into the pit. And that's the end of qualifying. And Schofield, sort of a little bit out of the blue, though. We've seen he's got lots of pace, but the only man to hit the 1:08.
Yeah, and yeah, pretty surprising, with all respect to them, a pretty surprising top 3 on the grid there. I don't think we would have gambled on Schofield and Sydney and Jack being your top 3 positions in qualifying, but it's excellent to see. Merck's not quite getting qualifying right there, and Beyond the Bower also not quite on form as what we've seen recently with him. So yeah, set up for a great race, especially with the 2 Red Bulls. We know they're quite feisty, shall we say, when it comes to racing on track. And yeah, it's set up to be a great race here with possibly a couple of surprises.
Absolutely. So in the qualifying, and it's a good one at that. Top 13, or top 14, all by showing 1.1 seconds in gaps. Bruce, do you want to take us through the grid order?
Absolutely, yeah. So Schofield and Sydney 1 and 2 on the grid, with Jack and Gotspeak 3-4. Brando 5th with Beyond the Bower 6th. The two, Mercedes of Merck in 7th with Gattuso 8th, Young 7th, 9th, and Edvir 10th. JP in the second, Mercedes in 11th with Ashtube 12th, Ruddu on his T1 debut 13th with Keza 14th, Ryan 15th, and Louis unfortunately getting that disqualification. It would have been interesting to see where Louis would have actually been. I think he probably had some good pace tonight in quali, looking at that first lap he set. So yeah, big shame for him. But yeah, it's 36 laps and plenty of opportunity, hopefully, for him to make his way forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's lots of laps, and let's face it, the Dutch Grand Prix normally breeds a little bit of carnage. Obviously, as a spectator, you kind of enjoy watching that. It makes the racing more interesting. Obviously, as a driver, it's just that added little bit of peril into this race because of how tight and old school the circuit is. It naturally just breeds that sort of tight racing that can cause unintentional small accidents.
Yeah, there's a few pinch points, isn't there, around the circuit? The exit of turn one, obviously the banked left-hander coming out of that can get a little bit interesting, quite easy to run up the track into other people there as well. And yeah, with the sweepers, it's so narrow. It's a very tricky circuit for side-by-side racing. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see how these guys actually attempt this race, whether they're patient or just try and get at it pretty quickly, because they know that actually as the race wears on, the opportunities tend to kind of diminish. We had no safety cars yesterday in Tier 2, which is some sort of record now. I think we're maybe about 5 or 6 races without any safety car at the moment. But Tier 1 has been providing them in abundance recently. So yeah, hopefully they'll have a clean race. But yeah, likelihood of a safety car is on recent standards probably quite high.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we wait though, Bruce, you want to just catch us up on what happened? Obviously last week. Obviously, I wasn't here last week. I was somewhere a lot sunnier than the UK. Yeah, obviously Portugal. Do you want to have a quick recap of last week?
Well, you know how bad my memory is, so I don't remember it 100%. To be honest, there was a bit of chaos, I think, in the sprint race, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was lots of good racing. It did sort of fan out a bit at one point, but yeah, the racing was super close. As I said, I can't remember 100%. And to be honest, I'm very surprised you weren't watching us with a cold beer in hand.
I mean, I don't drink beer, and I got a feeling I was having a better time elsewhere. To be fair,
It's hard to believe.
it is, yes. Onto the formation lap though for the Dutch Grand Prix, and we have nice temperatures. By the looks of it, looks like it's going to be a sunny race. Although you just never know. Good evening to everyone who is watching. Obviously, Keza, Mikey in the chat. Welcome to the Invictus Racing League Tier 1 for the Dutch Grand Prix, the penultimate round of Season 19. It's going to be a great little finale, obviously. The driver's title already wrapped up with Malc. Also, I do believe. So a lot of the drivers now racing for those other positions that are on offer. It's quite close all the way down through the standings, really. So we've got lots of positions to be decided.
Yeah, definitely. It's Merck has I say walked away on the statistics. You'd say he's walked away with it, but he's had a lot of close races and just come out on top through some pretty good racing or racing brain, really. So yeah, the standings make it look a lot more one-sided than it probably has been. But yeah, as you say, there's still some places to be decided a bit further down. I believe, if I quickly check, I don't know if I've got time to do this before the race starts. This is pushing it a bit, although Scopefielder has done a very quick lap there for the formation lap. But yeah, Got Spooked is a fair old whack ahead of Louis, so really the battle at the moment, and even Louis is quite a bit ahead of fourth. So yeah, a good battle going on for fourth at the moment in the championship between Beyond the Boar, Scopefielder, and Sydney.
And there you go, that is the order. We have the 5 red lights. And we are racing here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Who's got the best getaway? I don't know. Oh, that's a big wiggle from Scopefielder off the line. Almost 4 wide coming into Tarzan. 3 wide it goes. Are we going to get through clean? That's the big question. Yes, we do. And it is Sydney that comes out on top. Scopefielder's all over the grass. He's going to be side by side with Gotspooked. In towards turn 3 we go. The banked hairpin. I think I just saw a piece of carbon fibre somewhere as there's a bit more action behind. I think it was almost 4 wide. Big slide for Brando Caralengo. He has lost a M plate on the front wing, which is not ideal around here. You've also got Young Sav. That's some great driving between Young Sav and Merck side by side up through that section. And I don't think Merck's going to lose another place to Ashton. No, he just about hangs on. Further back you got JP fighting with Ryan, and looks like Keza going down the inside. That's very opportunistic through there. Not usually a place you see a move, and Keza unfortunately not successful on that one. But back at the front, it is Sydney that leads from Jack. Scopefielder is in 3rd with Gotspooked in 4th. Beyond Boa is in 5th. Gattuso 6th, Brando 7th, and Young Sav is 8th. As we head up towards the final couple of corners for the first time. And that was very, very action-packed, but good to see it pretty much, other than a front wing end plate getting lost, a clean lap as here comes Jack down the inside of Sydney for the lead of this race, but we know how powerful the outside line is round Tarzan for defending.
Yeah, really clean start. A little bit of 3 wide action, which gave a few sideways moments there where people were just making slight contact wheel to wheel. Obviously, Brando losing that end plate. Louis did run wide into the gravel at the last right-hander of the sweepers, and I'm not sure exactly what caused that. But yeah, it lost a fair bit of time, but he has almost caught back up to the tail of the field.
Yeah, good stuff from Louis to try and catch back up as we go through the second sector. Lots of close little battles, and obviously now we're going to have DRS available.
Oh, Ashtube in the gravel.
Gets back going, luckily no one else involved, and Ashtu can keep going on his way. We do have a few medium runners on this though. Merckx is one of them, as is Ruddo, and Czech goes back to the front of the pack, but we now have a 4-way fight for the lead between an RB, a McLaren, an Alpine and a Red Bull, as Edveer and Ruddo going side by side. Ruddo not quite able to Ruddo being overtaken by Edveer, but Edveer on those soft tyres compared to Ruddo's mediums. Other medium runners are JP, Ryan, Keza and Louis. So they'll be looking to go a little bit long and hope that there's no safety cars until they want to stop.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the preferred strategy is tonight. You'd have to guess, looking at this, it's a medium soft or a soft medium. Never really got the chance to check it out yesterday with our full wets race in Tier 2. But yeah, the mediums are struggling.
Gotspooked is gone past Scopefielder in that area that Keza was looking for a move. It looks like Scopefielder's just a little bit weak through that little set of corners at present in this race, as now Bjorn Boga's round the outside of turn 11. That's a lovely move. Scopefielder just seemingly struggling a little bit. I wonder if maybe he's running slightly lower wings, and in traffic that car is just not working.
Yeah, possibly the case. Yeah, Ashton was all over the back of Merckx until he made that mistake, because I think Sydney gets back in front for the lead.
Yeah, so you're back at the front. Brando losing a couple of places there. He's down to 9th, Merckx in 8th. And up at the front, Sydney leading from Jack, from Gotspooked, from Bjorn to Scopefielder. Got a nice little train here, 6 cars, and this is going to be the problem here for Young Sav, Merckx and Brando, is that they need to work together to try and get into that 1 second window to increase that train from 6 to 9.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can see Brando struggling with that end plate missing on his Red Bull. You'd have to feel. I think the soft tyres do wear around about sort of 4.5 to 5% a lap around the circuit. So it's not going to be long before the medium is a better time. But here comes Merckx with a bit of ERS, you'd have to say, and obviously plenty of DRS. Does break deep into the corner, but I think he's got that move done.
Problem is now they're now 1.8 seconds compared to the 1.2. And young Sav, oh, he has a bit of a twitch through the penultimate corner. He's going to have DRS wide open. And at the front, it looks like Sydney's managed to hold on, but got spooked down the inside of Jack. And he might actually get this one, because Jack didn't quite get as good an exit as you'd normally do on the outside of Tarzan. Still side by side into turn 3. This is going to require big cooperation, and Jack has to concede for now. All this fighting just allowing Bjorn de Boer here to start getting closer and closer to these two. Also allowing Sydney a little bit of breathing room up at the front as Merckx held on to his 7th place, but he's now 2 seconds behind the leading train.
Yeah, Youngstaff trying his best to hold on to the back of them. See the Ruddo up. Actually, I think Ashtube's just lost 2 places there. Not quite sure what happened to maybe running slightly wide onto that curb, but yeah, Ruddo and JP getting past the kick Cyber driver, and it's not going quite to plan for the Cyber team right now.
No, just outside the point, and Ashtube struggling just a little bit right now. Back at the front though, Sydney. I think he's going to be overtaken for the lead once again by Got Spooked as we head on to lap 6. Spook to the inside, Spook to the lead.
Ooh.
It looks a bit close behind them as well. JP gets past Ruddo. You have to feel for Ruddo, this is good experience here fighting with the top guys. And this is more of a learning curve rather than an outright performance attempt.
Yeah, as you said, I think this is more a case of seeing what the crack is really in Tier 1 for him, and yeah, definitely not doing himself a disservice here at all. Him and Kez also, Kez is doing a great job as well, normally Tier 2. But yeah, it's a little bunch of cars here towards the back, isn't there, after JP obviously getting that move done already, but yeah, there's about 6 cars at the back all fighting for those last 2 points paying positions right now.
With Ruddo, you kind of get that feeling of like Ollie Behrman, like, oh, big spin!
Oh!
For Jack, he's lost the rear end, that's Bjorn out of his home Grand Prix. And a safety car, there's no surprise in that, through the banked corner. Well, just on the entry to it, Jack just lost the rear end. Had a massive tank slapper, and the guys behind him, they didn't have anywhere else to go.
No, big point here though. We've got a bunch of guys. Merckx, I believe, the first of them able to get into the pits, and the safety car has picked up the top 6. So Merckx now, I believe, won't get a delta. He'll be able to catch up to the back of the pack, and he'll be on fresh tyres.
Fresh tyres, which you kind of feel will probably go to the end of this race.
They will, yeah. The hards definitely will last the race. Technically now, Merckx has lucked in to a net race lead.
Yeah, what's going to be interesting is young Sav behind him. He's gone to mediums.
Yeah, going to be tricky to get them to the end. I don't think impossible. I don't think it's impossible at all. I think Brando on softs, Keza on softs. That's slightly bizarre way of doing things, but these guys often know more than me. So,
well, I wonder. Obviously, Brando only done 1 lap in qualifying. He had basically had 2 fresh sets of soft tyres. Is this Brando basically going? There's going to be another safety car, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the grip, make up positions on track, and when there's inevitably another safety car, you can come in, chuck on some mediums or hards, whatever is best at the time, and have the advantage then towards the end of the race.
Yeah, quite possibly. We've got people now into pits. I think maybe getting a bit too excited and overtaking when they couldn't quite do it. But yeah, Ashtube in the pits now. Edveer also in the pits. So
Edveer coming back in off of a set of hard tyres.
Yeah, interesting to see.
New front wing.
Changing the front wing, yeah. So not sure. Maybe he damaged it earlier in the race and it didn't get changed on her previous pit stops. Put him on the mediums now. We would normally say that's going to be a nightmare. Although we did last week see who was it now? It was Might have been Louis on the mediums. Managed to go. No, it wasn't Louis. It was Ryan. Sorry, Ryan went out on the mediums and he stayed on them for pretty much 95% of the race and managed to pick up. I think it was either fourth or fifth place by doing so. So they can go, but it's a big task really, to be honest. But yeah, up ahead we've got Merck now behind JP. Now that Astute came in the pit, so you'd have to think JP's going to let Merck go pretty much immediately on the restart.
Yeah, absolutely. And the two Mercs will probably want to work together here as we've got the safety car coming in this lap. So a relatively short safety car period in comparison to previous races.
Question is, when does Gotspeed go? I think the later you leave it, the more chance you've got of holding on to that top spot come turn one. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It doesn't look like he's shaping up to go just yet.
And now he goes just on the exit of the bank corner. He's got about half a second, which I think will just about be enough as we head towards turn one. But Gattuso all over the back of Sydney, and he can't do anything about it. Ryan's come back into the pits, so that's interesting. And he's now retired from the session, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Very, very strange. Got 14 drivers left. Through turn three, Brando and Ruddo side by side. Brando getting through. I think Ruddo potentially not really fighting that one, knowing the difference in compounds. And Young Sav has got past JP. Jet was all over the grass going up towards turn 7.
Yeah, very, very close there with Jack. I thought he was good. Oh, late dart to the inside from the racing ball. Not giving his sister team any real, or his parent team any real chance. Although Brando straight around the outside, as you say, those soft compound tyres. He's making very quick inroads into the field in front of him. Mercked up to 5th now.
Keza up to 10th. He's got past Ruddo. And Ruddo now has Louis behind him. Back at the front, got Spook. Now has a 9/10 of a second gap. So he's really decided he's going to get on with it here. Try and break that DRS. Remember, the first DRS zone to come into effect won't be until after turn 10, the hairpin left. So we've got a little bit of time here to get this done. As Young Sav has now got past Merck for 5th. So those mediums are working well. Brando coming up to the back of the Mercedes.
Yeah, as you say, I think that those medium tyres are great now for Young Sav. Towards the end, they're going to struggle if he tries to stick on them for the entire race. Yeah, Merck now, Brando's going to get past him pretty sharpish, I should imagine. Yeah, is this actually a really... Oh, that's a mistake from Young Sav onto the curb. Does well to keep it off the grass. Normally it fires you off the road there, but yeah, that's a place there for Brando and Merck, and I think Brando's going to get another one pretty soon.
Yeah, DRS opens in. You get a sense that Brando may be thinking of waiting to the main straight to get this move done, but Merck is slowly closing the gap on Scopefield, because obviously those are the front 9-lap-old soft tyres. They have to be hoping for a safety car here, because they're basically a pit stop behind the likes of Merck and Brando right now.
Yeah, obviously they'll have massive pace advantage with better tyres towards the end of the race. I mean, they can always hope that it'll be enough, but yeah, as you say, Merck and Brando currently fighting for the net race lead, although Brando's going to have to pit again. So yeah, really hard to know how this one's going to pan out. I mean, fresh tyres are worth quite a bit around this circuit, so it's not all over for those top 4, but it's definitely going to be tricky, and as you say, going to be relying on another safety car.
So on to lap 11 of 36. We're nearly a third of the way through this Grand Prix. And yeah, if you have just joined us, welcome to Invictus Racing League Tier 1 from the Dutch Grand Prix for round number 11, the penultimate round of the season. We have had an early safety car, a big moment from Jack in the penultimate corner, unfortunately causing the DNF of Bjorn de Boer, who had nowhere else to go. We have Racing got back racing the top 4 yet to pit. Everyone behind has made a pit stop onto different tyres.
Interesting stuff. Merckx has actually caught the back of Scopefielder pretty quick, which is stopping Brando from getting past him. So yeah, it's the hard tyres now working. Obviously, these 11-lap-old softs are getting pretty trashed at this point. Not going to be much grip left on them. So yeah, the hard tyres are looking good as Ashtube comes in the pits and he retires from the session as well.
Slightly unsure as to why you'd retire at this stage of the Grand Prix. Still quite early days, a long way to go yet, unless he maybe has some rear wing damage or some sort of underfloor damage that can be really sort of devastating to the car, make it undrivable. But we're nearly at that point again, Bruce, where you finish, you score points. We're almost there.
Yeah, exactly that. I don't know what the situation is with Ruddo, if he even scores points tonight anyway. So, yeah, as it's so late in the season, I'm not quite sure what his contract for tonight's race entails. But yeah, Brando again all over the back of Merckx, but he's just going to struggle to get past him with Merckx having that DRS on the Alpine in front. In fact, Scopefielder was actually dropped back, so that's the Alpine of Gattuso.
Yeah, Scopefielder lost those positions going in towards like turn 10 area in the Alpine. Obviously those softs are now starting to cry a little bit. Oh, and that's going to help Merckx, is that Gattuso's managed to slot himself in between himself and Brando. And this is not an easy overtake for Brando. You can't really overtake up through here. It's a massive risk. Oh, and almost the risk comes to show the consequence. Luckily, it all stays in bounds and we are still racing.
Yeah, a bit of a moment that was heart and mouth stuff there, I should imagine, for Brando. But yes, as you say, struggling to get past. And Merckx is just driving away. He's going to get good grip up this corner, but is it enough? There's a yellow flag, and that is Louis who has spun.
Louis has spun, and Brando is up into 4th, but he's got a 1.1 second gap to Merckx, which means he's going to be outside of DRS. Has Merckx got it? Yes, he does. So Merckx has DRS, Brando does not. That's massively helpful, as young Sav finds himself behind the two Alpines now, heading into Tarzan.
It's like contact for the two Alpines there, and that's enabled young Sav to get up the inside of Scopefielder.
2 and into 3. Keza on the back of Jack. Just seeing what he can do here, and he's on those soft tyres, but he hasn't quite made the same sort of headway that Brando has. I just wonder whether that's sort of where that area that he's in is quite difficult sort of part of the field to overtake him. As Jack goes down the inside of JP 911. It's not an easy part of the pack to overtake him because of how tight it is.
Yeah, good move from Jet there, slotted in nicely in between JP and Scopefield. A really, really good move. Very opportunistic stuff. Yeah, interesting little battle here with these 6 cars I think we've got in very, very close attention to each other.
So with the McLaren of young Sav behind him, but at the front, got spooked. He's going to come under pressure from Sydney, and Merck is right there.
Scopefield in the pits.
Yep. I think those tyres have cried enough.
We've got an incident at turn 1. That's young Sav and Gattuso. And that's even bigger.
JP, a 10-second penalty has been given to him for a severe collision with Gattuso. I'm not exactly sure what just happened there, but got the tail end of it.
I'd like to think that's quite unfair because Gattuso spun across the front of JP and gave him nowhere to go. So, yeah, that's a bit of a nonsense penalty from the game there. But, yeah, Gattuso missing an end plate. I'm not sure about JP. I'd have to say at the pace he's going, he's missing 2 end plates.
And a big part of the left side of the wing.
Interesting. There was someone else involved as well. I'm trying to pick up who it was that may have lost some wing as well. But I think everyone else that was involved got away with that. But yeah, very unfortunate there for JP and Gattuso.
Yeah, as I say, not quite sure exactly what transpired there. We did catch the aftermath of it. Sydney now goes to the front and followed by Marked.
Oh,
Uh,
Keza,
how?
he's crashed
On the main
on the
straight?
on the exit. I don't know what happened there, but he was going down the wall with his front wheel off. So I'm guessing he's run wide and hit the wall at the top of the bank corner, and just dragged himself all the way down the pits, missing that front wheel. Ruddo in the pits, guessing to change to mediums now, but the safety car hasn't picked up the leader, so it's going to be deltas for everyone.
I mean, to some degree, this is a good thing for the likes of Gattuso and JP. I mean, JP especially because it means he's now served that 10-second penalty from the game without really much loss.
Yeah, it hasn't affected his position you know, you would have been massively frustrated at the time. But obviously that safety car now has probably eased the pain of that somewhat. But yeah, this is very interesting stuff. You know, Sydney and Gotsby, you have to think Merck's going to pit as well. I think everyone's going to pit for new tyres here. So yeah, this could be very, very interesting. The only person who might not pit, actually, although I think he's too far behind to benefit from it, is Scopefielder, because he's only just come in anyway. It's just pretty bad timing for him, really, with the safety car. But I think he's too far behind. I think everyone else that is coming in the pits now is going to come out in front of him anyway.
Well, that was a bit interesting between Young Sav and Jet coming into the pits. And Young Sav proved he was too quick into the pits, a 10-second penalty for him, which he won't be serving until either the next pit stop that he has or at the end of the race.
Yeah, well, you'd have to think he's going to come in at the end of the next lap to serve that. A strange mistake to make, and one that I do struggle to wrap my head around a little bit, really, and especially under safety car conditions. You know, you're not going to gain anything from coming in super fast, and that's kind of proves. Oh, it's a spin and a crash under safety car
for Jack. I think he came out trying to warm up his tyres, and he definitely. Oh, and that's going to be a bad rear wing as well for good measure. I think he was trying to warm up his tyres, and he definitely warmed them up, just unfortunately ended up in the wall whilst doing so. And he's lost his front wing.
Yeah, not ideal for him whatsoever. Obviously, we don't know, as you say, whether he's got rear wing damage now after backing into the wall to turn around. So, and he's in the gravel again.
I think he's trying to make up. He's trying to get around quickly. But the problem is he's going to join up to the back of the safety car pack, so, I mean, it was kind of a little bit pointless all at the same time. I was going to say, though, before he spun it, he'd done something that you don't usually see in the pits, with the way, obviously, we do the pit stops in terms of the unsafe release just being ghosted. He actually made a place up in the pit stops against Young Sav.
Okay, so yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, he's kind of thrown that away, hasn't he, a little bit now? It's a bit of a disaster for him. Had an interesting race so far, Jack. Quite eventful, shall we say?
And Keza saying he put his overtake on as he was on the exit of the banked corner and lost the car. Basically hit one wall and sent him into the other. As Young Sav back into the pits.
This is to serve his 10-second penalty, I think.
And soft tyres going onto the car.
Okay, so I think soft tyres will be pretty horrific by the end of what will probably be 17 laps, I should imagine. JP in the pits as well to switch to mediums off those hards. Didn't fancy those hards at the end. And Jack obviously in for his front wing and a set of mediums as well. So, Young Sav on the soft side. He's going to make places at the start. Maybe he's banking on another safety car as well.
Yeah, I think that's a smart decision though from JP. We saw how bad the performance of the hards are, especially in those first couple of laps. And if you can't get back into someone's DRS, obviously Merck was quite lucky in the fact that he got back into a DRS train, which in some respects does limit the sort of difference in tyre performance.
Yeah, definitely.
Jack's off.
He's off again.
Turn 8.
He's having a bit of a mare at the moment, isn't he? Does he have any damage? I think he's okay. I think he has rear wing damage.
I think, yeah, he has to. I mean, he did back it into the wall at turn 3 very hard. Turn 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, turn 3. Yeah, I think he's definitely got rear wing damage. However, if he finishes, he gets points.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. I mean, I
Oh,
know for a
late call
fact
for the
that if
safety car.
yeah, very late. I know for a fact if you smash off the front wing, it does counterbalance the fact your rear wing's useless. But then you'd just be trundling around at sort of Formula Ford speed. But at least you would get to the end of the race. But yeah, here we go, JPH. Race about to restart. When will Sydney go?
That is the question. I mean, I think we should take off both the wings, and here goes Sydney now. And it looks like that's a good restart, I think, from Brando behind, but I think he went a little bit too early, couldn't overtake because you're not allowed to overtake until you cross the start-finish line. Gattuso gets past Louis into turn 1. That's a good restart from him in the Alpine. As we head down towards turn 2. And it's a nice, clean restart, which is what we like to see here as young Sav making use of those tyres immediately up into 10th place. That's side by side between Gattuso and Renault. That is very close. You've got to be careful there. A little bit of wheel banging, but it's all good.
Jack's got rear wing damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come into pits and retire. He's basically driving a drift car right now. So, yeah, that's going to be very, very almost non-impossible for him to get to the end of this race safely.
Yeah, not ideal then for Jack, and very unfortunate. As Gattuso locks the rears up going into turn 11. Amazingly, still makes the move around the outside of Renault, but now he loses his front wing. And a virtual safety car has come out this time around.
Yeah, was that just Gattuso getting on the throttle too early, was it, perhaps? Like there was plenty of space given, but yeah, big shame there for the Alpine driver. You're going to come in the pits now, get that changed. Won't lose a full amount of pit stop, but it's enough to be pretty harmful to his race. So yeah, big shame for the Alpine driver there. Jack continues, but this car is basically like driving on ice the entire time, pretty much. So fair play if Jack does stick it out. I'm not sure if he. Oh, and we're back racing again.
Yeah, just a brief virtual safety car whilst the front wing of Gattuso got retrieved. And I think Jack's now spun again at turn 2. Gattuso's retired, but he's retired as he's coming out of the pit. So normally you do it on the entry of the pits, but there we go. So a bit of a shame that for Gattuso, because as we say, there are points on offer.
Oh, big huge spin for Jack. Unbelievable stuff. It's like stunt driving from the racing ball right now. But how he's not embedded himself in the wall, I don't know. But he's still going. So fair play. I believe Jack actually may have, I'm 100% sure, but may have a penalty hanging over him from the last race. So it may just be he's just trying to get to the end to get rid of it.
It'd be a good idea, and people have done it before. As here comes Got Spooked. To the front of the pack we go. Young Sav getting past Louis. Lost a couple of places, so I think he may have had a bit of a twitch out of that final corner because he's lost a lot of time. We got Spooked to the front. Sydney in second. Merckx is in third. Brando is in fourth. Scopefielder finds himself in fifth at the moment. Meanwhile, Young Sav is getting onto the back of Renault. Heading into the second sector.
Those soft tyres that are coming alive, aren't they, from McLaren? He's going to have to get some moves done before they start to lose their effectiveness. Move down the inside. I don't think Renault's going to fight that one. Indeed, he doesn't. I think at this point, Renault just needs to let them carry on, do their own thing, and I think at the moment the race is kind of coming to him anyway. Yeah,
and something you can almost use Young Sav a little bit as a bit of a tow rope. Maybe up to the back of Edvier, and could use him to try and open up doors for him.
Yeah, definitely. Dropping back a little bit, but still going to be there within that DRS. But the young Sav now with a fastest lap, so proving those soft tyres are pretty healthy and helpful right now. But as we said, that's going to dissipate slowly as the race goes on. Louis in the pits.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I wonder if Louis... Yeah, new front wing. He lost an end plate, so he definitely had a moment, clipped the wall near the end of the lap as Young Sav. This is going to get interesting. Oh, my word. That is close to the edge of the track for Young Sav. You have to have complete faith that you're going to get given a car's width up there. It's amazing how many moves as Youngster makes that mistake, goes wide, just about gets on ahead of Ruddo. It's amazing how many drivers are trying to make a move up through that section, knowing how dangerous it is if you don't have the full cooperation of your rivals.
Yeah, it is almost single line stuff through there, isn't it? And that nearly proved it. Jack going backwards again, and yeah, it's yeah, brilliant stuff from both of them. Just about enough room given there, I think, from Ed. But yeah, then obviously Youngstaff making that mistake, getting on that curb, and once you're on that one, it's very, very difficult to get off of it. I think anyone who gets off of it without careening into the barriers does a great job. Brando all over Merc at the moment.
Yeah, so Brando coming back into this race, obviously he had that stint on those soft tyres, which have paid dividends in the position on the circuit. This is the closest fight is up near this front.
Yeah, Youngstaff catching. Sorry, Ruddo catching back up with Young Sav now. So whether or not those softs have now started to see their best days already on the fifth lap of using them. But yeah, Ruddo does look maybe a little bit quicker now than the McLaren.
So, towards Tarzan for the 24th time, nearly 2/3 of the way through. Merc to the outside and got spooked as Sydney leads. I tell you what, Schofield is doing a really nice job here of kind of just quietly going about his business and just hanging on to the back of this group. He could become a bit of a dark horse come the end of this race if he's looked after those tyres.
Yeah, he's come back into this, hasn't he, Scopefield? He was a little chunk away from this group of four at the front beforehand, but yeah, he's worked his way back up to the tail end of this group. And yeah, he's very much in the hunt for this victory at the moment as Louis sets fastest lap on those new softs.
So Louis getting a bonus point at the moment for the fastest lap. I mean, I'm surprised with Jack that if he's basically running around for a finish, which is pretty clear that's what he's doing.
He's hit the wall, but he got away with it.
I'm surprised he hasn't come back in for maybe some mediums or softs, just to give him a bit of extra grip whilst he's having troubles with that car, because
Yeah.
it might help him just a little bit rather than running those hard tyres. They're probably not helping the cause even further.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout. I think if this was real life, he probably would have been black flagged by now as Louis gets past him. But yeah, he's fair play to him. He's persevering with this at the moment, and I think that sort of that does deserve some sort of commendation there, to be honest.
Spirit of not giving up.
Yeah, whether he can keep it out of the wall for the entire the last 12 laps or not is another thing. It's very, very sketchy for the racing ball driver, not least around here. A little wiggle coming out the last corner. It's pretty sketchy stuff, but yeah, he's still going.
Yeah, as you just quickly watch Jack up into Tarzan, you can see how slow he is going into Tarzan. And he almost loses the back end, almost into the gravel. I'm sure we can fully admit that if anything gets a little bit stale and boring, we can always go to Jack for some entertainment in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep an eye. I'll be on Jack watch for a little bit.
But back at the front, Sydney is still leading this race with Got Spooked in second, although I think that might be about to change with DRS power. Brando Camalengo is outside of DRS range. Jack causes yet another yellow flag in this race. And he doesn't seem to be moving. I don't know whether... Oh, he is now.
Okay. Yeah.
I was worried then for a second he might have beached his car, and obviously if you beach your car, you are out. Those are the rules in IRL. You're not allowed to reset. Schofield has got past Brando in the meantime. So Brando's starting to struggle now on those medium tyres, and it's something we've seen with Brando this season, that starter stints he's really good, but as the stint wears on and the tyres start to wear through, that his car just seems to not like the worn tyres as much as others around him.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack's going to have to be careful here. He's got the leaders coming up behind him, so hopefully he stays out the way, which he does. So that's great stuff there from Jack to do so. Um, yeah, as you say, Brando does struggle at certain points, doesn't he, on these tyres? But yeah, Sydney still holding firm at the front, doing a great job. Got spooked, not quite got enough to get past him into turn one at the moment.
No, and it's quite impressive that from the McLaren to have that pace to keep the Rebel behind. As here comes Spooked once again, but has another lap where he doesn't have enough of a run. Merck goes to the outside, looks for a switchback, can't quite find it. Now, obviously, we don't show battery levels for reasons that people may watch the stream, may also be sort of engineering, shall we say, for drivers. As Jack has retired from this race, we have a virtual safety car. I don't know if that is a crash retirement or
I would say where he is, it probably is. Yeah, I would say it probably is a crash retirement, that one. Louis coming up to that spot now, but unfortunately he has disappeared off track now. So Jack's car, yeah, shame for Jack. He was trying to get to the end there, wasn't he? But unfortunately his luck did eventually run out. I think that was probably his 45th spin of the race. So yeah, unfortunate for him. Yeah, you got to give him some kudos for actually attempting to get to the end of the race there. But yeah, this is a little respite now for Sydney. Can sort of try and relax a little bit, but obviously got to make sure he's on the ball for when we go back to green.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only a virtual safety car, and obviously once it goes green, you can go back to overtaking straight away. So you might get a surprise run.
That's Brando in the pits.
That's interesting, because I don't think we're going to have much more virtual safety car in this, as also Young Sav, which Young Sav makes more sense to come off of those soft tyres. Brando coming in for another set of mediums. Maybe feeling that the tyres are actually going off quicker than expected. And we have gone back racing, and I think Brando has just come in to the pit exit just at the right time, but he is a long, long way behind everyone. He's going to have everyone's tyres hit that cliff.
Yeah, strange choice there for Brando. I'm not sure on that one. It's going to be hard work for him to catch that time back up in a short space of time. But you shall see what the Red Bull driver can do.
Merckx all over the back of Got Spooked at the moment. Here on lap number 28 into turns 11 into 12. And look at the Alpine behind. Waiting just patiently in case anything happens between these top three. He is right there to take advantage.
Yeah, I think Scopefielder actually did well there on the virtual safety car. I think he actually maybe timed his get go right, and yeah, there you go. Got Spooked showing Merckx to the outside, and yeah, thou shall not pass, I'm afraid, at turn one this time round.
JP getting past Roddo, who's running in 7th place at the moment in the Haas on debut in Tier 1. It's been a good showing from the Tier 2 champion. Just been sort of almost his regular self. He's just been patient, stayed out of trouble, and everything comes to him. As Merckx is still staring at the back of that Rebel.
Yeah, Scopefielder does look like he's having to push very hard to keep up with these guys in front, but keeping up he still is at the moment, but very close to losing that DRS. Although you have to feel these guys in front will be battling quite hard soon as we reach the latter stages of the race, which would maybe give Scopefielder a chance to stick his nose in as well.
Yeah, that's the thing here, is that really, in reality, obviously, with the Drivers' Championship done and dusted, the Constructors is pretty much done and dusted. These guys are basically fighting almost for pride at this point, nothing to lose. As Merckx showing the outside once again, and a little bit of a twitch from Got Spooked. He just about closes the door in time, but that was almost the mistake that Merckx was looking for.
Yeah, I think Got Spooked almost. It was a mistake from Sydney, and that's allowed Got Spooked into the lead. Will Merckx be able to follow him through?
Oh, here we go. Oh, he was close between Sydney and Merckx, but Merckx does go around the outside. That's a lovely move And it's good to see the cooperation between those top three, because that could have been gone horribly, horribly wrong through there. But all of them giving space, and got spooked in the front of the pack for now. But he now no longer has that DRS almost saving him from Merc behind.
Yeah, you'd have to feel that Got Spooked would have been happier to see Sydney behind him right now than the Mercedes. But yeah, this is going to be interesting stuff. It's slightest mistake from Sydney, and it was enough for Got Spooked to make that move. But yeah, here we go. Merck's going to get this done, is he? I think he should get it done. Right on the back of Got Spooked coming into the pit straight, and there you go. Merck into the lead of the race from 8th on the grid.
Yeah, it's been a good drive from Merck, obviously, albeit with a little bit of luck, as JP, 9-1 down the inside of Edveer. He's into the top 5, is he? No, they're going to be still side by side. Edveer hanging on into turn 3 they go. A little bit of wheel banging, bit of body rubbing. But I think JP is just about going to get this. Yep, Edveer concedes the position, thinking better than to go side by side up through this section. And JP, I must admit, has had a really good recovery drive here.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Actually, yeah, up to 5th place. Pretty much now, this is going to be Mercedes winning the constructors as well if it finishes this way right now. I mean, I think even with Brando as far back as he is, that's pretty much paid to any outside chance, and that's a yellow flag. That is
Young Sav has gone
off
around
the road,
and he did biff the rear wing, so that car may be quite hard to drive for the remainder of this race.
Does look sketchy on get-go, but it could just be dirt on the top. And yeah, he's very sideways here. Again, it could just be because he's got dirt on the tyres. We're about to find out, though, exactly how much he's struggling.
Back at the front, Edveer has retaken 5th place from JP911, and Ruddo, I think, now getting the popcorn out for this one, because he can see 5th in his sights, and if they keep battling like this, Ruddo's going to be well within a chance here of fighting for that top 5, as Louis has got past Young Sav. I think Young Sav does have damage. He's coming into the pits. Whether this is to retire or just to get a new set of boots, we will find out shortly. And it is to retire. And once again, it's another driver who could be scoring points here, deciding not to.
Yeah, big shame for Young Savvy. Again, he was great pace early in the race, but yeah, there we go. It's just that one mistake, and it's enough, isn't it, to end it? So very close here between the top 3 again. Got spooked here. You'd have to think he's got a good chance of getting past Merck here into turn 1.
Yeah, there's only one problem
Yellow
with that,
flags.
though. Yes, the retiring car of Young Sav has created yellow flags, and I think Merck Got Spook's only just realised that, but Sydney hasn't. Well, I think Sydney didn't actually get in front whilst it was yellow, and if he had, it turned green, I think, just in time. JP has got back past Edveer, and Ruddo is another 10th closer to the fighting pair. Back in the front, and Merck sort of probably quite happy there. It looks like Got Spook is struggling with traction out of the penultimate corner, which isn't helping his cause down that main straight.
No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, he was about 4/10 there pretty much by the time they came out of that corner behind Mert. Wasn't able to get a move done. So you'd have to think he's probably got to be within 3/10. A bit of a mistake there though from Got Spooked, and that's going to give Mert plenty of breathing space.
Yeah, 6/10 worth of breathing space at present, and Got Spooked runs around a little bit deep there, I think, into 11. He's starting to overdrive the car now, knowing he's got to get back to the back of Merck, but he just has to stay calm, use the DRS effectively here to get back onto the Merck, and then take it from there.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, a case of being patient now. You've got 3 laps left in the race, so you've got to maybe work on the next lap and a half to close that gap to the Mercedes. As Edveer and JP continue their battle with Ruddo, just playing a watching brief right now, just behind the pair. Brando is catching this group of cars in front for 5th place, but I think he's going to run out of time.
2.9 seconds. It just depends how much they battle, because then they've got a 3-car battle for the top 5. Edveer, JP, Ruddo. Ruddo on the oldest tyres of the 3. I guess that's the thing. Brando's got 12 lap newer tyres compared to Ruddo. 10 lap newer compared to JP. So just depends how much they fight, how much they are willing to risk on this. And you see the gap for Brando is down to 2 seconds. I think he will be on the back of this battle by the end of the next lap at the most, I think.
Ed
Veer's gone round. Turn 11. I'm not quite sure if there was in contact or anything like that, but Ed Veer's gone round. JP into 5th, Ruddo into 6th. Got spooked, is unable to get past Mercked into turn number 1. But is this the chance that Ruddo needs? DRS open, the Haas sails through.
Yeah, good stuff for Ruddo. I think if he can hold this, I think he'd be delighted. He would have taken 5th place. Obviously, there's a lot of retirements tonight, but yeah, you've got to be in the race to score the points, and that's exactly what he's doing. And again, Scopefield are very much the same. He's not been winning races, but his performances have been so consistent. He's up there in the championship, fighting in those top 5 places, and yeah, he's doing it yet again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, some would say with Ruddo, obviously being Tier 2 champion, it wasn't his pace that really got him the championship. It was the consistency across the whole season, which is fantastic to see. As Brando on the back of them now, he's about the only one here that can spoil these two drivers' days for the top 5. Oh, that was a bit of a concertina into as we headed up to 11. JP just not wanting to overtake Ruddy there, and we all know why, because we're about to go on to the last lap. Got spooked down the inside of Merckx. Merckx should have a good run out of the corner though. He does, but Gospuk stays on the inside of 2. They're going to be side by side for 3. Sydney now waiting for any... Oh, Sydney's actually gone round instead.
Unbelievable stuff.
And we're only 3 wide coming out of Tarzan for the battle for 5th. JP up to 5th. Ruddo is 6th. Brando is in 7th. All 3 of these, though, should catch up to Sydney because Sydney's got no front wing. Back of their front, Merckx and Gospuk still side by side. As we head up towards the turn 10 hairpin. It's all kicked off on the 36th and final lap of this race. Schofield is going to get a podium just by being there. Gospuk looks to the inside. He's going to send it down the inside, loses the back end, hits Merckx. I think Merckx will get that one taken away. And that could be a slight investigation into that one. Spooked sent it into the inside. Lost the rear under braking. But it will be Gospuk who crosses the line first from Merckx. Schofield will be provisionally second, but don't... I think that will end up being... third. Amazingly, Sydney with... I didn't have a fully broken front wing. He comes home in 4th. JP 5th, Brando 6th. Ruddo will finish in 7th on his Tier 1 debut. Ed Veer will get 8th with Louis in 9th. And that's all your finishers. A high attrition rate, nearly 50% of the field. Not making the end of this race.
Yeah, pretty bonkers stuff. Louis also picking up fastest lap of the race as well, so it's an extra point for the Ferrari driver. Yeah, I think the move from Got Spooked was on. He was always going to go for it. I think he pretty much signalled his intention. But yeah, I think obviously we're not the stewards, but I think that may be changing after stewards' investigations. But yeah, brilliant race there between the guys at the front, and yeah, big shame there for Sydney to have that spin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's incredible actually that he managed to keep that position, because obviously he'd have lost a lot of time through the corners. So well done to him for getting to the end, and congrats to all 9 drivers for making the finish of this race of what was probably one of the highest attrition races we've seen this season.
Yeah, it was pretty bonkers, that, wasn't it? And yeah, it could have been a full 50% if Sydney would have come off a little bit worse off of his spin there on the final lap. But yeah, to have 7 retirements out of 16 starters, pretty bonkers stuff. Bruce,
you want to take us through the provisional race results?
I would love to, but I'm in a very black screen right now. So
there
you may have to take over.
I think so. Got Spooked will take the win provisionally. Schofield is 2nd. Merckx is 3rd. Sydney in 4th. JP 5th. Brando 6th. Ruddo 7th. Edveer 8th. Louis 9th. Young South, Jack, Gattuso, Keza, Ashtu, Ryan, and Beyond Burr, all failing to make the finish. But yeah, you have to say there's a couple of drivers there tonight that you feel had really good races. I mean, Ruddo is definitely one of them. Obviously, 7th on his Tier 1 AP. You can't fault the fact that he drove a really nice, sensible race. But you kind of feel it might have been slightly overshadowed by JP's sort of drive, because that comeback drive for him, probably one of the best drives I've seen him.
Yeah, it was a good recovery from JP, as you say. Yeah, it does make you wonder, if he maybe had some slightly better qualifying at times than what he could do in the race. Because there's no doubt, you can have great pace, but if you qualify a bit further down, you can't really cause too much, nuisance up front, shall we say? So, yeah, a shame. Obviously, he qualified so low down, but yeah, a brilliant recovery, as you say. And yeah, some really good drives tonight. Scopefielder, I think, I'm pretty impressed with that. Again, just consistency has been his sort of his key skill since coming to Tier 1 this season. So yeah, great stuff.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, slightly short end of the stream tonight. I do have to shoot off, so no interviews, unfortunately, with the podium runners. But next, racing does continue tomorrow. Realistic performance from the Netherlands. Obviously, that's not streamed, unfortunately, at the moment. So that'll be happening, and then next week, finale week. We come from Australia, yes. The finale down under. Obviously, Tuesday will be brought to you by Joe Hamster and JP911 on the Tuesday. And myself and Bruce will be back on the Wednesday for Tier 1 to talk absolute nonsense over the finale of the Tier 1 Championship. We hope you will all join us next week for those ones. But from everyone here, thank you for watching the Invictus Racing League Tier 1 from the Dutch Grand Prix. We hope you have a good rest of your week.